this is probably a very early conversation to have. The future of Sonic the Hedgehog seems a bit early for that, isn't it? Yeah, I would agree, but I can't stop thinking about it. Even now, I'm struggling to not think about the future because the third movie's not even out yet. It could do terribly. I don't think it will, but we just don't know what the third movie will have in store for us. And yet, I am both excited and kind of confused on how this is supposed to work. For example, if you look at the Sonic games and look at their quote unquote story, it's not it's not an easy thing to follow. The first three original games basically was a small origin story in terms of games, an introduction to Sonic the Hedgehog, and like I said, the first three games was Sonic, then Sonic and Tails, then they meet Knuckles, and then after that they go into Sonic Adventure. And this isn't the order in when the games have been released, but then you got Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow Hedgehog. If you know anything about Sonic stories within those games, they don't they don't do a good job at referencing the old stuff and keeping track of what came before. So after this third movie with Shadow the Hedgehog, which is seems to be adapting Sonic Adventure 2, where do you go from here? I mean, you could say Shadow the Hedgehog, but that seems like a solo series or movie for Shadow. But then what? Where do you go from here? Sonic 06? The other problem that comes to my mind is, I would say, like, I've heard people talk about how they want to go to the other worlds to see what they're like, and I kind of agree. I kind of want to do that, but I don't know if that's something that is necessary, given that Earth is a pretty big place and there are a lot of secrets that can be uncovered in this. But I guess that leads to the other problem of characters, where I am very confident we're not getting characters like Amy or Rouge in this. I could be wrong, but I think it would be story wise better if neither of them showed up, just so we're not bloating the cast. But then you have to ask, when will they show up, if they ever show up at all? And so all of these thoughts run through my head every time I think of the future of the Sonic movie series. Based off of what we already have, I have some ideas, but I want to see what other people think about this. I'm going to tell you the ideas and then we'll go from there. One of the things that I have thought of is whatever they do next could delve into the mystery of Sonic's past. In the movies, we did get an origin story of sorts, but if you remember in the first movie, Long Claw implied that Sonic has this great power. Um, but it was very vague and didn't really explain anything. In the second movie, we get a sort of broader explanation of the Owl Clan versus the Echidnas.
Ages ago, a fearsome group of warriors known as the Echidnas forged the 7 Chaos Emeralds into the most unstoppable weapon ever created. With it, a single warrior could defeat entire armies. Believing no one should have such power, an order of heroes recovered the emerald and swore to protect it from evil.
So then that kind of leads into a question of, well, how does Long Claw fall into this, if she's like part of this ancient race to fight the echidnas, then where does Sonic come into the mix? And I guess you could ask like, why is Sonic so powerful? I think that's a fair question. Maybe they'll continue to ask that. Another thing they could go into are the Chaos Emeralds. Something that is notably absent from the trailer are the Chaos Emeralds, which I can see how that would make sense, but then it kind of brings up the question of, will they ever be brought into this again? Because it's not like from what we can see, it doesn't seem like Shadow needs the Chaos Emeralds to do anything specific. He just needs to find a machine, power that up, and then go from there using his own power, but not with the Chaos Emeralds. It would be, I don't know if disappointing would be the right word, but I would want to see Sonic and Shadow go super in this movie. But obviously they can't do that without the Chaos Emeralds, and I feel like just pulling out the Chaos Emeralds by the end of the movie would, one, not be too satisfying for a movie, and two, that's not really how the games work either. They're always collecting the Chaos Emeralds before big things start happening. But I guess then the other question becomes, how do the other characters come into the mix? Because you can't really conceivably keep this series going without introducing these other characters. As far as like Amy and Rouge are concerned, I don't think they would be the hardest characters to introduce. They could just be like Tails, you just throw them in there. But I also feel like if you're gonna do that, at least with Amy, it kind of, you have to create a reason for her existence as to why she's here, why she does anything within this world. And I guess that could be a segue of, take the characters to different worlds to see what it's like. But I don't know if that's how they will introduce Amy. Rouge is pretty simple. She could just come in, work for Gun, or work with Gun, and then, from there it's just whatever. As long as it involves Chaos Emeralds or whatever, you can have Rouge in there. Uh, but then there's other ideas like with Silver, Blaze. They're pretty big, notable characters with a lot of story potential behind them. That one's by far going to be the most interesting change in this entire, as far as concepts are concerned. Because in the games, the first time we meet Silver is in '06. And the biggest problem with '06 isn't the time travel, but rather the fact that the events that happen at the end of '06, everything is reset. So Silver's existence is kind of a weird paradox. I wonder then if they would change Silver's backstory significantly. I don't know. I just don't know. And again, this is where you can see again where all my confusion is coming from. Once again, you could just say, yeah, it's too early to even talk about this. But I want to talk about it. I want to theory craft. I want to focus. I want to try and figure out ahead of time where they could go. Because for all we know, our theories could affect the next thing. It did the first time, but maybe I'm overhyping it. I just want to talk about it, and hopefully this rambling will at least get you guys thinking about it. And that's it. Yeah, I'm excited and hope you are too.